My name is Rose Mills, and I teach in the English department. Many writing classes, English 101 and 102, and occasional literature surveys. By working with just questions or statements to approach that, I came back to sometimes starting with the elements of thought and starting with just thesis statements or questions that would trigger a thesis statement to get students to start thinking about these. And then I start with the simplest text that I can find to get students to practice the elements of thought. And I'll try to pick things that are just way out there. This semester I used an article, a fine article from a college newspaper on the other side of the country called "General Education is a Waste of Time." My students immediately said, "I totally agree." But after we'd gone through the process of the elements of thought, and particularly after they looked at the underlying assumptions, some of them started to say, well, wait a second, I don't entirely agree with this. And they moved from not just applying these and being able to pull out the parts, but they moved to a place of saying, well, wait a second, my underlying assumptions are a little different from what is in here. And that, to me, is a really good movement to get them to be able to do that, particularly in first-year courses, first or second. So I begin the semester using the very easiest text that I can use to teach the model, and I hope to end the semester each time using the model to help students access a text that would be very difficult for them to understand. The intellectual standards I also use, these are really handy in assessing a text as opposed to analyzing it, but also in assessing student writing, in assessing student projects. It's a really good way to get them to think about the work that they're doing and how successfully they manage to meet some of these standards. And of course it's all overkill, and my biggest recommendation is taking parts of this and working those parts pretty hard before you try to put the whole thing together and expect a lot of glib answers that won't really get to the kind of understanding of the model that you hope to get.